What's up, Stokers? Before we begin this podcast, I want to let you know that we got Patreon out. Bonus episodes each week. Classic Chad and JT episodes. Get on the Patreon train if you're not on it already. Patreon.com/ChadGoesDeep. We also have tour dates coming up. We're going to be in Dallas, Plano, and Houston next week. Friday and Saturday, 17th and 18th of June. So get your tickets at ChadandJT.com. We got more tour dates coming up. Check out the website for those dates and ticket links. We're also brought to you by the legends at Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our dinks are looking fresh and clean. Because summer's coming, the sun is shining, shirts are off, and your balls are smooth. You heard that right. Your friends at Manscaped are here to make sure your beach balls are smooth as Floridian sand. And in summer, you want to kill some cold beers, barbecues, and not kill the vibe with pews peeking out of your swim trunks. Ain't that the truth? That's why Manscaped has their Performance Package 4.0 to keep the party in your pants looking crisp and refreshing all summer long. Dive headfirst into summer by joining the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and get ready for hot guy summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP. All right, let's start the show.
What's with deep? Going deep. Chad and JT.
You know, like every subculture has there's like surfer meme pages and like golf meme pages,
crypto,
nurse meme pages.
Yeah.
This guy does just for stand up, and it's just like the Booker at a Bringer show and a young female comic. But just like, dang it, this is so good. Dude. It's just so nobody gets it except comics. It's just hilarious.
I mean, the inside jokes that comics have about the comedy community. They're always fun. Like Brendan Cooney is the best at that.
He's so funny.
He's so funny.
Well, it's so therapeutic because you're like, man, and we're not really above the place where I don't say it. There's the emails that I get from like this one nighter that's like, he's like $100 in Sioux City, Iowa, who can do it tonight. But I stay on the list, and I would consider myself to be
beyond that.
Yeah, but I go, you could always, no comic is like I'm better than anything, because you know you could be back there the next day.
Well, I mean, and it's not it doesn't work in perpetuity. Like you can have like a huge night where you do a huge show in front of a ton of people and then not have anything for
the next night,
2 weeks. So after a couple days, once the high wears off, you're like, oh, you're doing a show in your garage, like in meth country? I'm like, I'll be there.
Sure, I'll be there. Or like, hey, I would, you never personally like piss off a booker because you might need that show, even if it's the worst show, unless you just burn the bridge all the way.
Right.
Then sometimes you got to do that.
I don't even know how to be rude to a booker.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You're good. He's good like that.
Or you know what? Maybe I am rude, but it's in ways that it's so
around.
I'm not even aware that I'm being rude. Like I just don't respond for a couple weeks, or I'm like lazy about promotion or the date.
And then he comes back and he's like, dude.
And he's like, hey man, could you help out on this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I was being rude, but I don't.
The old "can you help out on this" is tough.
Like promo, asking for promo. Yeah,
because he's asks you to do a show, and you're like, sweet. And then it's like 2 weeks before, and he's like, hey, can you help out? Meaning there's no one coming.
Yeah.
That's what that means, right?
Right.
Hey, can you help us out on this one?
And I'm always pretty reluctant to do that to comics that we book on our shows, because I just feel like it seems uncool.
Yeah, it's not cool.
And I'm pretty committed
to being cool,
because I think there's more long-term viability in that.
Absolutely.
It's a personality that you want to live by. Somebody told me, Ryan Long.
Sure.
Yeah, he told me about this comic. He was on a show out here in LA, and this comic, I'm not gonna name him, but he was like, he showed up and he's like, dude, it's too many. He's like, it's too many people on the show. He's like he's like, it's too many people on the show. This is ridiculous. And like they were like, all right, we can like move up. He's like, nah, dude, it's fine, whatever.
To the booker?
Yeah. And he goes, well, or you can go in front of Ryan's like, you can go in front of me, like, and he's like, nah, dude, whatever. It's like, I'll just like do it. And then he got mad at the comic that was like before him for going like 30 seconds over, and it's like, dude, we anything you were mad at, we could have changed, but he was just committed to being like whatever.
Right.
He was committed to being over it.
Yeah. The
whole time. But it also, they texted him on Monday and goes, "Do you want to do this show?"
Right.
But that's like a personality. Mm-hmm. Like I'm too cool for this.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
But it has to be here.
Was he at a, from your estimation, without naming him, is he at a place in his career where he should have that attitude?
Not really.
No.
I mean, not here. If you're at the Iowa like improv, maybe, but like there's other people that are bigger.
This is Los Angeles and New York.
That he's just like, dude, whatever. Like this. I'm like, dude, it's a Tuesday. How does it work on Tuesday at the improv? They ask you a week before. If you're a big time guy,
something like that.
Yeah, they go, hey, do you want to come here on Tuesday? And he's like, yeah.
Do you think he does that? It's like a conscious choice of like, okay, I'm important now. I'm gonna be the whatever guy.
I'm gonna be I'm over this.
That's how I'm gonna enforce my status.
Yeah, there's like a what's his name? Roy. Who's that Roy that worked for Comedy Central? Black guy.
Roy Wood.
Roy Wood.
He's funny.
He said he was watching Damon Wayans he tweeted this. He's watching Damon Wayans at the improv and he goes, dude, this guy's such a baller. Like he was killing so hard that he tweeted this. He was killing so hard. No one in the crowd realized he was calling an Uber on his phone and he timed his set perfectly.
Yeah.
To like
That's
when he got off stage, the Uber was there and he left.
Yeah.
Like that's a flex.
It's a great flex.
No, get a driver if you are right.
I like that move by Damon Wayans to kind of
dude, you
subtly,
do. Like, all right,
subtly tell the audience that even though I'm doing great, I'm in two places at once and this isn't that important to me.
But it is though. If you're like,
I don't know why I like that.
you
but
like that move. I respect that.
Yeah.
And he goes hashtag masterclass, like meaning comics should like learn like this is the way.
Oh, so Roy Wood was on board with it.
Yeah, Roy Wood thought it was awesome, and I was pissed at it.
Why were you pissed at it?
If you got other places to be, go there. Or like you're like killing so hard that you're like, I'm better than like, and you had to get first of all, if you're that rich, then just have a car service.
I hear you because I'm a huge Bruce Springsteen fan, and he
Yeah.
would never do something like that. Bruce Springsteen would make the audience feel like the most important person.
Yeah, or like Garth Brooks.
Are you calling an Uber right
No,
now?
I'm calling. No, I'm gonna see if I can find this tweet. Yeah,
Like so you're a Garth Brooks fan,
huge, dude, huge.
and
you guys like him?
He
or
does
no?
a great live show, right?
Unbelievable.
Not
yeah.
super familiar with his music, but I know his live show is supposed to be.
It rips.
It's just something else.
You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
I once saw Damon Wayans get on stage and destroy so hard nobody noticed he was ordering an Uber while talking. Then, between jokes, he'd sneak and check the status of his car. Nobody but comedians noticed. Timed his closer to hit just as the driver pulled up. Hashtag masterclass.
Also, very polite to the driver to not make him wait, even though you're crushing in front of a packed
crushing in
house.
front of a sold out.
His priorities are in place.
But he said no one noticed except the comics, meaning young comics are like, that is the way.
Right.
Versus like when we were coming up, you talk to like the booker, you introduce yourselves to make sure you met every single person, handed out your card, or like if you wanted to like be good.
Yeah.
I never really did that stuff.
You didn't.
No.
I guess like handing out cards and stuff.
Or like meeting everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm not great at that either.
Nah, you know who would do something like that? Trevor.
Trevor's good at that.
Yeah, Trevor is a businessman.
He is. He's
Yeah.
on. He's on point.
Yeah, Trevor is out.
He's a wonderful guy.
He's
too.
the best. Dude, he's the
Yeah.
nicest guy
He's
ever.
very accessible, very kind,
Hard
Yeah.
work,
and
very
just
accessible.
works his fucking ass off.
He works hard.
And you text him jokes, and he texts you right back. It's like it's freaking hilarious.
I don't text him often. Do you guys text jokes?
Yeah, Trevor.
Nice.
Yes.
I don't really do that. I do that with like I don't really do it with comics. I text
don't?
my brother. The
Like
most.
jokes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I talked to my mom.
About comedy?
Jokes, yeah.
You do?
I'll test out jokes on her. Yeah.
She thinks it's cool. She's into it.
She is my mom. And
Yeah.
I'd say she's maybe an easier laugh because of that.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
But-
pad the stats though.
But I can tell when something's funny with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, would you call? Is this during the middle of a conversation, or you say you call her for? I got to run this premise by you.
both times have happened. A lot of times,
Yeah,
because
dude,
I call her a lot. I call her
Yeah.
like almost every day. So I'll be like, "Hey, can I run some jokes?"
You call your mom every day?
Almost, yeah. We're very close.
I'm jealous of that, dude.
How often do you and your mom talk?
Not that, like once a month, maybe.
Once a month.
But you guys must really get it in on that once a month.
Yeah, we go pretty hard. Yeah. You talk to your
What's
dad?
Yeah, very often.
You?
Yeah, it's my dad less so.
Dang.
Yeah.
dog.
My dad gets grumpy if I don't call him. He
Does?
gets like a needy kind of girlfriend attitude where he's like, But he curses. He's like, "Hey, motherfucker, why haven't you called me in 4 days?" And I got to go through my call log. I'm like, "I called you Saturday." He's like, "All right, well, that was 3 days ago. What's up?" And I'm like, "Chilling, dog."
So just chilling. Dude. I'm out here. Do they live here or no?
Then sometimes to be, gently rebellious, I'll go, "What's up with you, dude?" He goes, "I'm not dude."
That's a good. Yeah. Sorry,
like a joke.
you called me that, and now I can't call you dude. Yeah, you're right.
You gotta upset him a little
100%,
bit.
yeah.
Let him know you're willing to poke the bear. Back to the Garth Brooks thing. What was his alter ego, Chris Gaines?
Was it?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he did that? When he like pivoted into like an emo rocker kind of attitude?
There's a lot of them that have done that.
He was
What's
gonna
his
do a
name? Dirk
movie.
Bentley does that.
He was going to do a movie too.
Yeah.
As that character.
As Gaines, because he had to get that side of himself out. Do you have a? Sorry.
Well, the Garth Brooks is a character. What is the character from Garth Brooks? Whoever the real guy is inside of Garth Brooks is a character. Anybody that big is a character. I'm kind of a character. Not like if you see me in the airport and you go, John Crist, you're gonna meet the guy from the videos, right?
Right.
You turn that on.
Yeah, I remember when I was in rehab, dude. I was like, we were like 3 months, and then we finally got to go out to go to like a little Mexican restaurant in like Hattiesburg, Mississippi, the first time. And I was like, we're sitting there with all these guys like from rehab, and these 3 women walked by. They go, John Crist, and I go, hey girl, like what are you guys doing? Like having a margarita? Like I'm gonna tell your pastor, and like all the guys in rehab were like, what was that? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, that's like the thing. I do like a thing on the internet. That was him.
You dive into it.
Yeah, but they didn't. I guess from whatever you guys have known, I'm pretty similar to that.
Right.
But I was way out of work. I was like in rehab.
Yeah.
So it was like
How was that experience?
unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. It was in the winter of 2019, right before COVID. Yeah, rehab's different, dude. You ever been?
I haven't.
Nah, don't go. No, do go. I don't know. It's cool, dude. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you and me, we've known
yeah.
each other for a
we
while.
got on the same tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on a similar wavelength.
I didn't mean like a railroad tracks. Like if you're on the opposite side. Yeah.
But
Was that meeting out here? Was it around this neighborhood?
it was a meeting.
Do you still
Oh,
go?
I'm gonna bleep out that specific.
Because
you know what, dude?
People go to see you there. No, you don't go there.
No, it's supposed to be anonymous.
Oh
right?
yeah, right. So it's anonymous.
But I think everyone can put together what
Yeah.
we're talking about. I just started going back about a month ago.
Yeah. To that one.
To that meeting, doing most of them virtually, doing it over
love
Zoom.
to go to that meeting. Was it today? Do they have them there?
I didn't do it. Yeah, it's every day at 12:15.
Oh,
and I did it the last couple days, and it's been
Yeah.
amazing. And dude, it's just incredible how many layers get peeled back
Yep.
on the onion. Because I just started a month ago, and I was like, I had this gripe about recovery, where I felt it was too much of a bummer, and I came in with this new attitude where I was like, I'm gonna be hyper positive. I'm not gonna wallow.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna be pissed.
I'm not gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days ago, I'm just
I'm gonna kill everybody. In
just
here, dude.
unloading, dude. But it was authentic, and I think that's what I like about it is that even if it's difficult, I do feel
real.
it's real, and I feel more awareness of who I am and really what's
100%.
going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in LA, if somebody wasn't aware, knowledgeable of the recovery community, the meetings. Let's say just Alcoholics Anonymous. There are 1,000 today. That's so big.
Oh, it's a huge. I mean, it's the majority
community,
of the city.
recovery community. You think it's gonna be like, oh, I got to go in some church, go around the back door, knock 3 times, and it's in a little closet. I go, no, dude. They keep them pretty small but they're so big.
I mean, that Saturday one is like
Huge.
It's a party. There's like 200 mostly
Big.
dudes in there.
Yeah, mostly dudes. Maybe start with the AA meetings because those are a little. If you're new to the recovery, go to like the easier, more palatable ones.
You can go on Zoom.
Or you go on Zoom. Yeah.
Have
You
you
have
been?
to introduce yourself on Zoom.
I do. And I'm so funny. It's my full name on my Zoom thing. So I'm terrible at the anonymity part.
I forgot about that.
I'm so like public facing about everything that part's been a little bit hard for me to integrate. But
you were public facing about what?
just everything.
Yeah,
about like my sex addiction and all that stuff. So it's been hard for me to like
Well, you know what's... Sorry, keep going.
No, you go.
Well, you know what's good about that? You can't be canceled.
Right.
Because you're like, if anything happened, you're like, yeah, we knew this.
I think
That makes you uncancelable. Well, the reason I got canceled was because I was like working in church and doing all the same stuff, and no one knew that.
So it was the kind of
it's like
the cover up more than the crime.
My activity was was very plain. It's nothing weird, but you like if you see like I said like if Gavin Newsom says everybody has to wear a mask, and then we see him not wearing one, we want to crush him because we don't care if someone wears masks or not, but you told us to all wear them, or if a fitness instructor
is on juice.
It's like no, like this is how you eat. You need to eat vegan. And then we see him at McDonald's. You go bullshit, dude. You said this and you are that, and that's what all being canceled is in essence hypocrisy in the way of living.
Totally. I was kind of clued in on that early because I remember that book that Paul Provenza had called Satiristas, where it was comedians doing interviews.
Yep.
And in the Patrice O'Neill section, he said, "My audience is loyal to me because they know I'll never lie to them." Mm-hmm. And I think that's why people identify so much with him, because they felt like they were not getting the Garth Brooks version of him. They were getting the full thing. Do you feel now that you've gone through all that stuff and you've had to have this kind of like very like, I don't know, like vulnerable public moment? Do you feel like more yourself now when you're performing, or like just even in your day-to-day life?
100%.
Does everything feel more integrated?
Yeah. I wish there's a lot of people that I still know on the other side that are like, either in the faith, the Christian area, or just being like, they got a secret. I go, man, I feel so much empathy for them because it's so much better over here. But my hand, I can't like be the guy that tells people what to do because my hand was forced. I didn't volunteer any information, and I didn't have the courage to either. I got, in essence, discovered, and then I had to own it. But everybody's like, dude, I mean, there's a lot of comics that are the Me Too movement's kind of over. Not over.
Well, I don't know about that, but
not over, but like this so much fear of like, I mean, people were like quitting their jobs preemptively back in 2019. Remember that?
I had a joke where
somebody was like, "Hey, I quit," and you're like, "What? You were like, I'm in high school. Whatever." You're like, "I'm out."
Yeah, there was two kinds of guys with like high profile jobs who were worried they were going to get in trouble, and then guys who were glad they didn't have high profile jobs.
Yeah, right. They're like, everybody's like looking back on. I mean, I remember some executives just preemptively quit their jobs because they were so scared.
Did you ever feel compelled to talk about it before you got in trouble?
I would always talk about it
because you were in the meetings before.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, I wasn't nervous if people see me in meetings or anything, or if people ask me, I wouldn't like. I saw you at that show at the Improv. I go, dude, I remember him from the meetings, and then you were like, yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. I have no shame about it either.
No, I meant like, did you ever feel like, did you have moments where you'd just be like alone and you were like, I got to get this off my chest?
Yeah, but I was
scared,
terrified. And when I got canceled or discovered or whatever, that's the best sleep I ever got. I hadn't slept like that in years.
Because you were kind of, there were a few years where you sort of.
Oh, it's from the beginning of my comedy career, 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And so when you were sort of went into rehab, did you go unwillingly? Like you're.
Yeah. I was like, well, so they kind of do it like threatening. They messaged our team and they go, hey, we've been researching John for 6 months, and we're going to break the story tomorrow about John. It was like it's just so silly. It's like, it's not silly, but it was like, John, he's been like sexting. He's been sexting, and I was there like in relationships with married women. But I didn't know what the article was. I didn't know what evidence they had, and then they go, we're going to post it tomorrow at 11 or something like that. And 11 came, and I was so stressed. First, I was like, my life is ruined. And then 11 o'clock came, they didn't post it. 12 o'clock came, they didn't post it. 1 o'clock came, they didn't post it. And for a second, I was like, well, maybe. And I go, you know what? If they don't post it, I'm going to post it because I'm not living like this anymore. I'm post it. I didn't want to still live the same way because I was so depressed. This guy was like a comedy podcast. Everybody's like, wow, dude, too much. But
no, I think it's good.
When I was at those meetings, I was my career was just on a rocket ship, and I was so depressed and sad and drinking, and I've been sober since that day. Because I'm not in shame anymore, because the shame is what took me down.
Right.
And were you raised like a Christian?
Yeah, dude, the most Christian.
So your parents were both like devout, church going people?
Yeah, I thought the first time I ever kissed a girl, I was like 22.
I was a late bloomer as well.
What's up, dude? Yeah.
So was that because you were?
I was scared.
Just nervous?
I was just scared. Yeah, I was scared
of God's judgment or of women?
God. Probably both.
And so was it hard for you to like? Did that? It seems like to me that would work twofold. Like, I'd be afraid of having sex because of those factors. But then also I'd want to have sex more.
Yeah, because they say no. They say you can't.
Right.
Yeah. I remember we did a mission, like a church mission down in New Orleans for the whole summer in New Orleans. And they were like, they had all these bikes there, and they go, you can go, here's what they said, they go, you can go anywhere in New Orleans except Bourbon Street. Don't go to Bourbon Street. And I'm a 19, I'm going there immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately, because they go, don't go there. There's like, I don't know what, topless women or whatever. And that's, as soon as me and my buddy got a free, we went there immediately. That's just how religion kind of trains you a little bit.
So when all that stuff happened, did it feel like a rebirth in a sense?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And in terms of your spirituality, was your faith sort of, a weaker level, and then it got reinforced through the rehab process? How would you say that?
Yeah. So you like the recovery community is so like these big monster mega churches, like if you go through the South, I mean, there's some here down in Orange County. This is huge.
The Saddleback Church in Orange County is like, that's a machine.
That's something different.
They're getting like 80,000 people through there.
Yeah, and everybody in the lobby, the foyer, everybody's dressed up, khakis, but you're like, hey man, how you doing? Doing great. God bless you. And then there's like, you hear about these secret meetings, and usually not at churches like that, but you go at other churches, a small Lutheran church like the one, and you go down there. And there's always, if you look in the instructions or the meetings, it's always go to the second door, take a left. It's very specific. It's almost like a secret, and then I go, because I came from the big church, and then I went to these meetings. I go, man, if Jesus, the man, if he came back, he would go to the meetings.
100%.
Yes, dude.
I've never felt God more than in those meetings. And I grew up Catholic church, and I felt it a little bit there at moments, funeral or something intense.
Sure.
But like the routine of it, pretty hard for me to connect with. But you go into a meeting and you hear people who have sinned, having empathy and forgiving other people, and trying to be their best self. That's what if you're like you feel like a never felt closer to God or spirituality than in rehab, which wasn't a Christian. You can kind of decide who your own higher power is, and the humility of it too. Yeah, like we're all at the same place. Yeah, and you go regardless. Like that's what you're like, and you're not allowed to. It's called no crosstalk. So a guy says, "I ruined my life. I got fired from my job. I can't quit drinking," and you just got to go, thanks, Chuck. And then it's just so, my parents had to come to a meeting with me, and they came to rehab. Part of the thing is you got to go to a meeting, and my parents came. My dad's a pastor, and all these people were just falling apart, and he wanted so bad to be like, and I go, there's no help. It's extreme help, but there's no, you don't tell them, hey, what I would do is you just go, thanks, man. And pretty much you just go, same. And what do you think the benefit of that is? Well, everybody that would be trying to, everybody's trying, you can talk to them afterwards in the parking lot and say, hey, if you really. But it's like a control thing, right? It's like we want to control, like we could fix this, we can help. But all that stuff is about abdicating control.
Yeah,
and just being
losing
like,
it. Yeah,
and just being like, hey, I'm just gonna let life do what life's gonna do, and I'm not at the wheel on this.
Let it. And you know what's wild in rehab? It's like if all of us are sitting around and somebody starts crying. Somebody starts crying, and there's like tissues all around, usually everywhere. And if you get up and hand that guy, they don't allow you. If you were crying, they don't allow me to hand you tissues, or you to hand him tissues. Why? Because you handing him tissue is saying, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this expression of emotion you're having. You are uncomfortable with it. You're saying, hey, button this up. I'm uncomfortable. So and when somebody's crying, it's wildly therapeutic. It's wildly, if you just broke down sobbing.
I've been doing it lately.
So have I, a lot. It's so beneficial and it's so cleansing, and oftentimes other people are uncomfortable with it, and they, in the rehab process, they would go, then in the next session, they go, now why did you do that? Why did you hand him those tissues?
It is true. Why when someone starts crying do our systems just go haywire?
It's uncomfortable. Same with anger in a lot of ways. Like, hey, this is, everybody's just supposed to be so dormant and so, but if you, the best, like I was at a concert the other day, I was at a Ben Rector concert, and I was moved to tears in the concert. And it's like your face gets really like, crying is not attractive, but it felt so good. It felt so good. I just started I was weeping.
And good on you for being able to be present in that moment and like really.
And
you're
the people
surrounded by people.
Yeah, the people I were with who are safe people. They're not going to be like, oh, what a pussy or whatever. They'll be like, they go, let him like.
Oh, that's so valuable.
Yeah, and I was just like, what were you feeling? I was like, a lot of gratitude, a lot of happiness, and I was overwhelmed by I was like, man.
And that makes me feel stronger. Like I feel more strong.
Everybody's
now.
like, what's going? Everyone around you would feel more attracted to you, not in a sexual way, men and women, but like that's a guy that
he's real.
Yeah, dude.
And he's giving you permission to be real.
Yeah,
that's nice.
But it's to express that. Yeah, you gotta feel, but people do it in the meetings. You know, have you ever? There's other comics in the recovery community in Nashville. And you always go to a meeting, and he says when the meeting, someone breaks the meeting, like opens it, so you can be like, oh, okay, so because
it's like a school dance for all little
boring.
tens.
And somebody just goes, dude, I'm dying, man, and then everybody goes, thank you, this is why we came,
right?
Because it's very surface level. Well, I'm trying to get a new job interview, and that's maybe what tempted me to, and then somebody goes, dude, I don't know if I'm going to make it to tomorrow. Like, I don't know if I'm going to live to tomorrow. And then everybody goes, thank you.
Were you always as in touch with your emotions prior to
no
rehab therapy? No.
Now that
were you able to cry easily before?
No. I just didn't. I had no permission to do that whenever I was a kid or something. I never. No.
Where'd you grow up?
At Lilburn, Georgia, in the South, right outside of Atlanta.
Small town?
Yeah. My dad's the mayor.
Your dad's the mayor?
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Should go into his city council meetings, dude.
I'd love to.
Yeah, we're like, what up, dude?
And what about your mom?
She's like, I'm one of 8 kids.
Are you?
So
really?
she just always works at the house.
Which one are you?
3rd.
Nice. I'm 5th of 7.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Do you got that? That's why you like. Did you go to comedy because you needed attention?
Yeah. Well, I'm the baby of my mom's kids, so I was sort of the baby in that sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely related to that need for attention for sure.
You need to get it.
I would perform for my family.
Yeah.
I was always quiet and shy, but I would perform for them.
Yeah, dude, I'm the exact same. Exactly. Yeah. I would perform on the fireplace.
Yeah,
fireplace.
Yeah. All my cousins would be around. I would
dude, we're the same person.
I was really into Austin Powers, so I would bust the Austin Powers quotes. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I just started like first time I did stand up. I go, I'm gonna do this forever. I'm gonna do this forever.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most unbelievable rush of attention everything I didn't get. And when I was, I got into, as an addict, you got into, and then when in rehab, they took away that other stuff. And like in rehab, they don't let you escape in any way. So there's no, obviously, drugs, alcohol, sex, no caffeine, no sugar, no fiction books, no music,
no music,
even if you exercise and you get a runner's high from exercise, they don't let you do that. You just walk. You can walk 30 minutes a day. No dopamine rush of any type.
Because they're trying to drain you.
Drain it all. High. And then the pain that whatever you're trying to escape from with all the addictions, you just have to sit with it.
Fuck.
And then you realize, I always say when I went to rehab, I looked the devil in the eye. I looked him in the eye.
What'd he look like?
Yeah, it wasn't good, man. It wasn't
was
good.
it you? Or was
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a guy with horns, but I go, like death. You thinking about, I'm going to end my life. This is, this.
The pain's too much.
It's too strong. I looked him in the eye and I had to. There was no, like now, even if you get on your phone, you're uncomfortable with an emotion, a thought, your girlfriend, a booker says, like, you just got ego. Even when I'm writing jokes and I'm uncomfortable with I can't figure, I get in it. I go into my phone because I can scroll in. That kind of makes me.
Gives you a distraction.
Yeah, it feels better for a second. And the radio and all this stuff, but if you just sit with it, you realize it's not that scary.
And I guess too, like when you're saying that, when you're looking at that thing and it's saying like, hey, you should get out of this, you should end it.
It's so scary.
And someone asked me, they're like, what's your greatest fear? And it took me a minute, but it was that I landed on it. It was that I'm like permanently fucked.
Yeah.
That like I can't fix whatever it is I am, and that's just gonna be it.
And he's gonna be there.
He's always gonna be there, and I can throw everything I got at it.
Yeah.
But it's set. It's done. I'm that fucked up person.
Yeah.
And to look at that
it's always, no matter what, career success or relationship success, this thing is always.
And those things are always gonna blow up.
Yeah.
It's always
it's gonna screw it up.
It's doomed because I'm a doomed.
That's the. I looked him in the eye. It's that. And
then what did you say, or did you just sit and look at that?
Well, you just sit and because prior to rehab, I had to. You do these big sold out shows at these theaters, standing ovation, meet and greet lines around the block 3 times, and to go around the corner, someone drop you off at a Hampton Inn, get a key card for room 214, and shut that door was like a prison cell. That it was unbearable. It was absolutely unbearable. I had to either be with a woman or drunk to survive that.
Really? It was the lack of attention?
It was just the high from just the crash was just unbelievable. Right. And it just like it's just shooting dopamine into your brain on max. That's what a comedy show is.
It's incredible. And I mean,
if you do well, it's just like
and those people are looking at you in awe, and they're so grateful to you.
Yeah.
And you're just soaking that in.
And they say we drove from 4 hours to see you because we love. It's a very heavy responsibility as a human. And then they go, thanks. Here's your key card. We'll see you in the morning. And it was.
And did that?
It was unbearable.
Do you think if you would have stayed in Georgia and like followed in your dad's footsteps a little bit and like done the more, for lack of a better phrase, like regular pursuit, do you think you would have still gotten to this place? Or do you think the career and the excitement and the attention kind of intensified everything?
I mean, my dad asked me to take over his church when I was like in high school. He's like, you should.
You're the one?
Yeah. No, I don't know if he might ask my brothers. I don't know. I never asked him, but that was an option for me. And that didn't do much for me. But I didn't pursue comedy at the beginning. But when I was doing a bunch of different things, I'm kind of unhappy. But I found comedy, and what I was gonna say is when they took away everything, all the quote escapes, drugs, alcohol, and I go, I didn't do any drugs, but there was no, and I didn't realize this was my addiction until when I was in rehab. They took away all that stuff, and I was like, I'll be fine without women. I like to be around women, but I'm not. I don't know. You can take or leave that. And then alcohol, I go after 3 weeks. I go whatever. That's not. And then what happened was there's like a family week in rehab. So your family, either your wife comes or your kids come or my parents came because I'm single. Parents came, and there was another guy and his wife. There's 3 of us that have families come at the same week. We're all going through family week together. I will never forget this the rest of my life, dude, because it was in Wickenburg, Arizona, away from. It's like a compound, like nobody goes in or out. And this woman that was another guy's wife came, and she, after the first session or whatever, she goes, "Hey, are you John Crist?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm like obsessed with your comedy." And it was like, it was like, oh, that's it. It felt so good that I go, oh, that's what I'm chasing. Not the alcohol was kind of a means to get to women to try to cover up this thing until I could get back to just being known or seen. Because my family, not that my parents, they are who they are, but like, I just never got attention, and that comedy gave it to me. And I thought it was all over, and that's why I wanted to end my life. And somebody came and said, "Hey, I know who you are, and I think you're unbelievable." And I was like, "Oh, that's it. That was my addiction."
So
and still is, by the way.
Still, so
yeah,
at this
100%.
At this point, when you go home to the hotel room, or not home, but when you go to the hotel room,
Yeah.
How do you? What's your? I don't know if fix is the right word, but like, what's your substitution?
Well, it's not. Well, the reason why I didn't want to go to the hotel room back then was because it was so scary, because of the shame. All these people 5,000 people that came to my show, I thought, if they knew who I was, if they knew the truth about me, they would all hate me.
Right.
And that shame is not with me anymore. So I don't feel the need to escape. I can just go and watch Sports Center and
what a gift that is.
yeah, it wasn't the I'm not trying to escape, if anything. I've been sober since that day.
I mean, that's a superpower.
I still struggle. I don't want to be like, I don't want to.
No, I know.
Anybody in recovery is like, "Hey, day at a time, dude. I'm just lucky to be alive." No one would be like, "Here's the 5 tips." Yeah.
And it's a dated time for everything, not just staying away from the substances or
Everything.
whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's a dated time for everything. We can't fix anything.
No, but I'm not like.
But we can sit with it.
Yeah. And that's they said your body will, if you let it. Now, it's impossible, I think, outside of rehab. Like, people took alcohol from me. I couldn't physically get to it. So I didn't really, in rehab, I mean, it's expensive, but like, I would say it's pretty dang near impossible to live in the same community that you use in whatever you use and try to be sober. It's disrespectful to addiction and the power of it. You can't. You can be, I mean, how many people have you heard like, I'm quitting alcohol, or for a month I'm gonna go vegan, or no more sugar, and then they get one night in and they go, God, I gotta have some Oreos.
I've quit the vape 5 times.
It's too strong.
I'm about to pop a Zyn. Yeah,
it's too strong.
Are you doing the Zyn?
It's better for the podcast if I'm not vaping.
Dude, nice.
That was an eyesore.
But it's strong, dude. It's you disrespectful to the endorphins and the chemicals in your brain to say like, I'm gonna not do this.
Yeah. I had some issues with drinking when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And it's because I still have it a little bit, but it's because I became a different guy, the guy I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I got attention for that because I was always shy and quiet, and then I would get blacked out and I would be this sort of like kind of crazier guy.
And everybody would like that guy.
And everyone would like that guy.
Yeah.
And then when I sort of, it was sort of self-imposed sobriety. Now I'm sort of like, here and there, but I think I was able to, but I think, I was able to, like, through comedy, it's like that dopamine, that rush.
You get it. Yeah.
Is through performing, and
they would say you're if you took, there was a guy in rehab that, he was a lawyer. He's a big time lawyer, and he lost his license. Because he was addicted to cocaine, and he would do it. He did it with clients, or he broke some rules of that's a licensed profession. He lost your license, and then he came to rehab, and it's like, if you were sober for like a year, then you can get your license back. And he was in rehab for 5 months, relapsed. And then the board came to him and said, hey, you're never going to get your license again. And he overdosed and died.
Really?
No.
Yeah, because does that make sense? Like there was no path back to.
And his identity was rooted in
Yeah.
being that guy.
Yeah, and me in rehab 3 months in, if you said, I called my agent, this is funny now, but I go, hey, how many followers have I lost? He goes, oh, none. And then he goes, I got a couple calls from some comedy clubs that want to book you whenever you're, and I go, oh, wait, what? Meaning like, okay, if I can kind of right the ship, I can see the way. I can see the way forward. And he that was the only thing he knew. He's 40. He'd worked to be a lawyer, and they said you can never do it again. What, outside of Christianity or Jesus or whatever faith, what would you
Yeah.
that's a tough sell.
No, I think people do in these conversations around people losing things, and I still don't know where I fall or what, like, how things should be decided and what consequences should be leveled. I do think people underestimate what it feels like to lose that thing that you've built your existence around, and by extension of that, like, your self-worth.
Yeah.
And and obviously, you know, people make mistakes and they impact other people, and that's,
and there needs to be
a serious
consequences.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a serious
100%.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
But it's I always do have empathy for the people who lose that thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're kind of fragile creatures.
Very,
we feel stronger when we have something like that.
A purpose.
A purpose, and we get rewarded for that purpose, and that turns into how you think about yourself. And there's negatives to that, because then it's never enough, or you never feel fully strong, because you're always relying on this thing. But that is I get it.
That's all you're saying. Like, I can't believe anyone would commit suicide, or like, but looking at the devil, you go, I get it. That's it. I get. I don't agree, but I get. He goes, so you're an addict, and we do feel the heaviness of this, like, where I'm always going to have it, right? And so now you're telling him the only place he had worth or value, his family. I'm not breaking confidentiality by saying this, but his family had emancipated him. Like, his addiction was so strong, his family said, legally, we have to cut, like, legally, you cannot be in our family anymore. Like excommunicating him, because his addiction was so heavy. So you have no family, you got no kids, but you are good at this thing, and you take that, and you're 40, by the way. Or what are you going to start, like, you're going to work at CVS? Like, that's like a lot of people in prison that go for drugs. They make, 40, 50 grand in a drug deal, and you're in prison, and you get out in your mid 40s, and you're telling them to go work at Staples. It's just a tough sell, dude.
Yeah, I hear you. But I guess if it happened to me, and I've thought about it. We all have those nights where we think about, what would you do if it all got, flipped for whatever reason, whether it's personal choice
Make a
or
poor
something
choice.
bigger.
Yeah.
Or even just like the world changes or something like that. But do you feel like, I guess it's more interesting to ask you, like, do you feel like if it had gotten taken away from you, could you have taken those steps? Is that kind of what scares you about it?
Yeah.
Is that what scares you about it? Is that, like, you're like, oh, I could see myself in that guy's situation?
And I don't know if empathy is the right word, but
You go, yeah.
It makes sense. Now, being on the other side, like, we had a buddy that's in prison. I saw his mom at a show at a meet and greet. I go, I'm not gonna say his son's name, but I go, where is he? And he goes, oh, he's in prison. I go, what? And he was in prison in that city, and we were performing in that city. And I go, well, let's go see him. She was like, what? I go, yeah, let's go see him, because he had 5 DUIs, and he's in prison. And he's, if you're in prison, I've never been in prison, but you feel so low, you feel so hopeless. You feel so, I go, man, being on the other side, I got so much hope for someone that can, I go, I have to tell him. I have to tell him. This is what makes me cry. I have to tell him that don't kill yourself. Because this other side is so, like, if you can figure out the way to, it's unbelievable over here. And every message I got in rehab, I mean, I'm a public figure, I guess, and they found out where I was. I got stacks of mail every day, stacks of mail every day from people I did not know, but everyone was the same story. 20 years ago, I got a DUI. 15 years ago, I cheated on my wife and lost my whole family. 10 years ago, I was a CEO of a company. I got caught at a massage parlor, and everyone had come to this other side, and their life was not amazing, but they were better for it. And they knew survived. And they knew that if someone, they knew what that feeling was to be at the bottom. And they go, and there's been, Sam Hunt got a DUI, or Crist or people that I go, just don't kill yourself. Just don't kill yourself. Because it's you're so compelled to get the message to them because you have been there. I got a message from a guy that was the old comedy club that I used to work at. One of the waitresses' dad, who lived in Nebraska and was a football coach, I got a letter from him, a handwritten letter that a guy I met once. And I go, how did you even get the address? He saw my story on the news, and he knew I was religious, and he knew I loved being a comedian, and he liked my comedy. And he goes, I have to find this guy and encourage him. I have to, because I know he's dying. And I feel the same way about other people that, they love to do a job and they get either, they blow up their family, make a horrible choice with alcohol or addiction or drugs or whatever. And I go, God, dude. And I feel nothing but empathy. People on the news I go, it's not funny to me. I don't have jokes about people in, I go, someone, let's reach out to him. Let's go see him in prison. Let's go, because that they're dying. But that everybody in the meetings are like that.
No, it can be overwhelming at times too.
Yeah.
But I do find myself, I don't know, more connected to everybody because of it. And also more connected to myself, which I think is so important. But I'm kind of stuck on and it's heavy, but that instinct to not want to go on when that stuff is lost, is it because of attachment to how people thought of us or how we thought of ourselves? Do you know what I'm saying? Why would, I guess I get it totally. And it's kind of, I don't know if this is even helpful to conversation, but what is it that would make it so hard to just be that dude at Staples or CVS?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think if it's like you're like, I said this recently where when I got to rehab, they were saying, you're a good man. We love you. You made some poor choices, but you're deserving of life. You're a human being. You deserve joy. You deserve happiness. We're proud of you. And I go, what? It was so confused by that. I never heard that before because I was very religious. If you make a mistake, it's shame. You're bad. You're disconnected from God, from other people. Hide. And they would encourage me so much all during the day. I would go home. This is what I struggle with in rehab. I would go home and I would get on Twitter and I would search my name and see all the horrific shit being said about me. I would go there because I was so uncomfortable with someone saying, you're a good man. I never believed that since I was born.
Because you didn't feel like you were good unless you were doing something.
That's the only way, like you said, on the mantle at home, earning, and then the drinking later, earning somebody see me. Somebody at least.
I think it's cultural too.
Yeah.
Like Kurt Vonnegut said, like we're the only culture, like contemporary American culture, that doesn't have like a paragon of like the poor enlightened person. Like everyone we worship in our culture is it's attention, it's success. Like there's no examples.
Who has the most currency, attention?
Yeah, there's no example. Like I guess most other cultures have like
there's someone they look up to.
There's someone that they look up to who's not a big swinging dick.
Great point.
And then here we're like, no. We don't have that. We don't have that guy from CVS who's just a good dude and is content to live like a normal life and just be decent. We don't have a guy like that we all like are like, it wouldn't work because we couldn't build anything off of it.
And so what you're saying is if you to be the guy that works at CVS and just he plays intramural volleyball or whatever in his group and go and
he's just a nice guy.
So you in rehab in essence you let go of this like Tarzan, you let go of this rope, and this other one you don't know what it is, like to just not pursue, I don't know, more followers or bigger
something.
You just free falling. You just go, I don't even know what any of this is. I don't even know. Like you can't. In rehab, they're not allowed to say what your job is. So and you're not allowed to say your last name. So you just go, my name's John. And as a man, I think it's like everybody in there is a doctor, lawyer, surgeon, professional athlete, entertainer, because they're all that's how narcissism just gets out of hand in those. And you just sit there and go, my name's John. And then you're like, I want to play ping pong. Really? It's so, and that's all you
It's
have.
very vulnerable.
But that's all we ever had.
I'm just a fucking dude.
I'm just a dude.
I'm just a fucking dude. I don't have anything to dress it up in. I can't ride.
But that's how everyone, I would say, wants to at their most basic, wants to be loved, not because you do anything, just because you are a human.
Right. And do you think a lot of it too is a sense of purpose? Like it's the kind of thing where it's like, with the lawyer, for example, it's like in his mind, he's like, this is what I'm good at. This is what I was put on this earth to do.
Yeah.
And then when you take that away from me, it's like, where's my worth?
What am I? Yeah.
It's like it's like you've taken away my ability to be a contributing member of society in his mind.
Yeah. Well, untrue.
Yeah.
No, but very true to him.
Yes.
This is the only way. Like I've dated women. I'm in a relationship now, but I've dated women where they go, hey, don't you want to just stay here tonight and just like watch a movie? Like, do you have to go to like do a set? Or like, do you got to go to the Zanies? Zanies, I live in Nashville. Do you got to go down? They're like, I hear you, but I go, that's all I've ever, you don't understand what my relationship is with this thing. Mm-hmm. It's given me everything. It's taken everything, but it's also given me everything I have. Mm-hmm. And down there, I'm a not a god, not lowercase g. I'm a god when I go on the road.
That's the feeling.
Yeah, and to just sit here and just like do the dishes is just.
Well, is there a voice in your head too when you're with her? You're like, I don't trust that you'll like me if I don't have that other thing going.
Yep.
And
because that's how you earned it your whole life.
Exactly. And
then somebody shows up and like after everything happened to me, that people were like, people still did to yesterday just go, hey man, like I've been following you for a long time, but you're it's just awesome to see what you're doing, and you've really encouraged me, and your story has been an inspiration. You go, what? The first time somebody said that to me after everything, they go, hey man, we love you. And it was so confusing because you never, I go, what?
What about the people, have you had any contact with like the aggrieved parties?
The other side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's, have you felt like growth or reconciliation there?
Yeah, well, so in rehab, all they ever do is they get you to see the other person's perspective, right? Look at it from the other side. Like you look at, like I look at, oh, I'm a public figure. You guys came to my show. You wanted to hook up, and you DM'd me first or whatever. That's how you go in. Very like, oh, this is BS. Everybody's trying to cancel me because I'm successful.
Yeah, we're the victim.
That's how you start. That's how you start. And then you're kind of in there for a month, and someone goes, yeah, you know what? If you just came to like enjoy a comedy show, and the guy up there, you like, let's say you enjoyed the show and you like posted an Instagram story, you're like, LOL, had a great time with it. And you're like, it's you and your girlfriends, and that guy DMs you like, what's up? It's very,
it's that
jarring.
It's
about. Very and I go, oh, these are two adults. Yeah, sure. And then you keep spending more and more time in rehab, and then they go, man. And I was performing in like churches. So you go, all right, if you have any past, not trauma, but like, let's say you dated a guy, he turned out to be shit. Maybe your pastor, you trusted him, and then he turned out to be what, you have some kind of history with a lot of people that have religious trauma, a lot of people. And then I come along and I'm like, hey, what's up? You're beautiful. I love you. I'm on the road, but if not, I'd love to date you. And then you're like, you put a lot of hope in me. This guy's John is different. And you find out I'm that guy too. I understand why you're pissed. And I'm on people on the internet. Like people on the internet like defend me. I go, hey, I made a lot of, I don't apologize to people that are angry on Twitter, like demanding my like picketing. But the women that I misled to use them physically, yes, that I feel great amount of to make amends for that. Now, people screaming on Twitter, that's not the court. They're not looking for redemption or forgiveness or reconciliation. That's a different thing. But the actual people that, yeah, I've had many conversations with them. And you go, oh. But you start being like, like you dig yourself in the ground, you're like, yeah. And then you go, yeah, I get that. I get why you're upset.
When I get digging into the ground too, because you're getting kind of rocked by everyone.
Crushed. Yeah.
And there's a part of you that wants to say like, but hey, like, I'm not all those things.
I'm some of those things. Yeah, but not, yeah, you don't, yeah.
And it's like, I'm a complicated person. And then there's the party that's like, and you are too.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
We're all imperfect. So.
And if you came to me, like most of the conversations I've had, honestly, with women that we go, hey, I'm so sorry. I was a part of that too. I didn't realize you were struggling. And I used you also. It's like two insecure people feeding off each other. They both, in the long run, they lose, but during that night, they both have used each other to win.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's the thing that where in-person reconciliation is different than people screaming on Twitter.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't think that's
That's not helpful. That's not helpful to anything. But yeah.
No, it's just I don't know.
But people are dealing with their own stuff,
Yeah, it's weird though.
We had a conversation about the empathy toward the other side, about I mean, I was gonna say not to get too deep, but we're already pretty deep.
What's up, dudes? I'm interrupting this podcast to let you know that we got a Patreon out, classic Chad and JT episodes, bonus content each week. We are going to also, we have a goal. 750 patrons are going to do a case race draft episode. So help us get to that goal, and we're going to, crush some brews and freaking draft. So patreon.com/Chad goes deep to become a patron. We also have tour dates coming up. We're going to be in Plano, Texas, and Houston next Friday and Saturday, or this Friday and Saturday. That's when it comes out. Yeah, 17th and 18th. Get your tickets at chatandjt.com and check it out for more tour dates and ticket links. We're also brought to you by the Legends at Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our chins peeled, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our dinks are looking fresh and clean, because you guys have dongs. And if you're a lady, you have a vagina. And those come with pubes. And pubes grow out of your pubal region. And if not attended to, they can go haywire, and people will notice that. Summer's coming. Aaron agrees. Summer's coming, and your pubes will fly out of your shorts. And you don't want that. You want people to be like, wow, that guy's getting a bronze. And for some reason, I can tell that his pubes are on point. I'm talking, half an inch, just well cut. And for some reason, I feel like he has a palm tree shaved into his pube patch. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a good summer to me. So if you want to get on that chain and check out their new Lawnmower 4.0 and their Manscaped Performance Package with all the goodies, they got the Weed Whacker, Crop Reviver Toner, Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Performance Boxer Briefs, and of course the Lawnmower 4.0. Check out this stuff. And look at it's cool packaging. If you're watching, it's sick. Weed Whacker, I trimmed my nose hair today. Trimmed my pubes before my trip to Hawaii. I am feeling and looking good. So, get on the Manscaped train right now if you aren't already. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP at manscaped.com. This is the summer to turn your package into the full package with Manscaped. Let's get back to the show.
About the kid that
Shut up, Evaldi.
Yeah. That you go, what? Addiction, they said addiction is, it is trying to help you. You're in so much pain, so much heaviness. The alcohol gave us an escape. Because they gave us an escape, right? It's trying to help you. It's not doing what it thinks it's doing, but it's going here.
Yeah,
use this. This will help you.
It's trying to look out for you.
Yes, it's
trying to keep you safe.
Now, yes. So the addiction and going to the meetings and stuff is like, hey, we don't hate this addict. We don't say screw him. We go, hey, tell me what you're feeling right now. I know you're angry. I know you want to go look at porn, or I know you want to go. Tell me why you're feeling that way. What do you want? What is uncomfortable about? Why do you want to escape? And that kid, I don't know him, or I don't know who it is, but it addiction escalates, right? So it started where
it's a progressive disease.
Yeah, however that started, it was a little bit of an escape from him, and a lot of that stuff is like maybe like mutilating animals and stuff. Like it starts like that, and then it's progressive.
It mushrooms. Well, now that you're like, it seems like you've integrated a lot more of like all the sides of yourself. Do you find it easier to be like light and like joyful?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, I don't want to be like when I got my 2-year chip. I go, I should like post this. I should post this. This would be my most liked post, especially everything I've gone through. This would be my most liked post in 3 years.
Yeah.
But I go, all right, if I post this, first of all, why am I posting this? 10 minutes later, I'm going to check to see if I got any likes and see how good it's doing. That is your addiction.
And it's you being good and getting credit for that.
And then I go, and also I lived in, I told a story where I did a show at a church, and then I went to a Texas Roadhouse with a bunch of pastors from the church, and I wanted to drink. And I ordered a Sprite, and then I acted like I was going to the bathroom, and I found the waitress, and I go, hey, can you give me a triple vodka Sprite in a Coke glass so these pastors won't know that I'm drinking? And I paid her in cash, $40 or something like that. So I drank in secret, and I did everything in secret. That's how the religion. So I go, if I post sober guy, I'm sober guy now. And then if I start drinking, I got to go back into that closet and do it again.
I feel that too.
To build up the guy again. And I go, don't put me on any the bigger the platform, the bigger the shadow is what they say. I go, don't put me up to be like Gavin Newsom or Joel Osteen, or I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to be. I'll help you if you come to me privately.
And it's hard if you're a public figure because we want to look up to and worship these people too. And I struggle with that where I'm like, I want there to be perfect people. I want there to be heroes that I can
wish there was.
Love unapologetically.
Yeah.
But the truth is, even the people who have done great stuff were, by and large, deeply flawed.
Yes, yeah,
people.
That's the story of the whole Bible. Unfortunately, but anyone in there is that.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, so do I just not look up to people? And it's like, well, no, you emphasize the parts that work, and you try to be a little more cognizant of the other stuff too.
Well, I guess the problem was if you with my cancellation, it was so traumatic or newsworthy or whatever, because if I never said I was any of the things. I never said I didn't drink. I never said I'm a single guy. I never said I wasn't dating. I never said, but I guess they put me, if you followed me and I said I was a Christian, you were like, he must be. I go, y'all put me up here. And then you found out that I was drinking and it ruined your image of me. But I go, you put me up there. And then of course I come out and I'm sober, and all these churches and all they come to our church, tell us your redemption story. I go, y'all put me up here. Y'all also brought me down. And now y'all are gonna, I go,
well, and we love that as people. We love
you love it.
We love the up and down of it.
And I go, I can't give you guys back the power to be able to crush me again. I mean, it wouldn't happen. It would, but I go, I can't put my worth back in your hands, unfortunately.
And so you didn't post about the chip.
No.
I think that's huge, man.
But people go back and forth because there are people that Eminem did it, and I was encouraged by.
No, it's beautiful. When someone does it, it's beautiful. It's great. Hey, whatever. If you can help people get better, that's fucking
absolutely
always good.
Absolutely. Or if, like, there will be, of course, there'll be a bunch of people in the comments. They'll be like, and you want to screenshot them and post them. Because why?
Wait, screenshot who?
Like if in this YouTube, there are a lot of people that are going to be like, we watched the podcast, we were encouraged by it.
Oh yeah, no, and that popped into my head a couple times.
Yeah, you want to screenshot it and repost it to say everybody. Same with performing on the fireplace. The same. Hey, everybody. Look at me.
Yeah. I remember when I was sober, I did 3 years.
Yeah.
I never wanted to talk about it publicly because I wanted to drink again.
Yeah.
It was that same thing of like, you should talk about it. You should talk. And I'm like, nah, because I know it. I just
and I feel the same way.
I just knew.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna.
Because then.
I'm not gonna brand myself like that.
Yeah. Because I think that the struggle we have with all those guys that are those mega church pastors or whatever, you go, that can't be.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you know what was tough is then when we started becoming known is then I was branded as a party guy.
Oh yeah.
And then we were getting like invites from like people who were like, come to our party and
and
I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, now I'm like you're that guy.
I was like, how can I be like the house party guy, but not want to drink and then show up to a party and then like be a sober guy? I was like, that was a huge
if you were sober, they'd be like, and you were just like doing shots of like water the whole time. They were like, wait, what?
It's a Sprite.
Yeah, dude, let's go.
That does sound sick though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a shot of Sprite.
I think that's interesting too about how we think about ourselves. Like in your head, you're like, oh, they'll think I'm like boring or not as exciting as. But I find you more interesting.
Oh,
like I love you any which way, but like there's something about us where we're like. We think we're more interesting that way, but it's not actually the case. Like a really solid person who can do those things, but is really solid and just like able to sit at home and watch TV and be content with that, to me is like, that's fascinating. Right. You know what I mean? That's rarer. Yeah. Like I know a bunch of dudes who can get fucking ripped at a party and like dance on a table, and that's cool as fuck. But like,
it's cool.
But I'm not like, I'm much more interested in someone who can like like we were talking about, go back to the Hampton Inn and sit there and watch Sports Center and be like, hey, I had a fucking great night. And then
well, thank you. Yeah, and I think it goes back twofold in college. You know, it's like it came back of like now I'm the party guy again.
Yeah.
And so now my value is placed in that. And it's like, and that's in my mind I was like, that's what people expect from me now.
Yeah.
And if I can't meet that expectation,
I'm nothing.
And then on top of that, the culture, which I think is shifting a little bit. I guess you just see it on social media, maybe with sobriety and stuff. With a lot of times they'll be like, they're like, oh, you're boring, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I was just so afraid of being boring.
But not be, You know, well, if somebody comes up to you in the airport or wherever recognizes you, are you the guy?
I think it's just so. I guess maybe I perk up a little bit, but I just think it's so kind of, you know, muddled.
Yeah, it's all
Maybe I've become more of the guy just in general.
Well, if you think about like celebrity of even 20 and 30 years ago, it's like if you love Tom Cruise, if you are a super fan of Tom Cruise, you're interacting with him.
Guilty.
For 2. Yeah. Okay. Fair. Yeah. You're interacting with him. He hasn't said anything enough. The whole time he's like, this is where he's like, oh, this is now he's speaking to me. If you're you're interacting with him for 2.5 hours once every 14 months.
Yeah.
No one knew of Tom Cruise, or we didn't care.
Yeah.
He's like playing a character. First of all, we have no idea if that's him.
We were happy for just that slice of it.
Yeah, and now it's like you want to know. You follow these people on Instagram. You know what you like. You know your girlfriend. You know like where he lives. You know like what kind of like stuff he's. And you're like, there's a lot you can consume of you if you are a fan of you. So there is. It also does. That's what happened to me. It's like, oh, we thought he was. We followed him every day.
Yeah.
We watched his Instagram stories every day. We had no idea he was deep in depression. Mm-hmm. He was presenting us this, and then we find out, wait, what?
So what does that depression like look like? Like, does the camera shut off and then you're like heavy and you're just perking up for when it's running, or
you can get the drug from it.
Right.
It's like you get on it and you're like,
so it's not even a choice really. It's like once that thing turns on, the whole system goes,
it's kind of like
gas.
Yeah.
You're getting gassed up, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is.
And then you go, and I remember coming home if I didn't have a show and during the day I like to work, and that's my kind of drug during the day, and I would make an Instagram story at like about 4 or 5 p.m. This is back in 2019, 18. I'd make an Instagram story because I knew I'd drum up a lot of followers. You drum up a lot of messages and a lot of DMs and a lot of interactions, and that would last me through the night. If I didn't have a live Instagram story, and I would make one at 5 p.m. just so I could.
No, I've had that. If something doesn't go right, like a couple years ago, I was like dating a gal and she like canceled plans on me that day, and I was like, I had already allocated so much of like my life force and purpose that day to me and her like fusing or whatever, in the way that I was just so geared up for it. You know what I mean? I was like, this is gonna be like.
You're going to get all your needs.
Yeah, it was like pre-game of like the finals or something. And then she cancels, and then I end up doing like 40 stories that day of me like shopping at a Lululemon or something. And it was great fuel. Like the whole thing was like funny, you know, but
it was like, oh, I'm good.
And then I was like, okay, I and then I felt so good about myself for channeling it into something else. But I don't know. I don't even know how. I'm trying to learn. I don't even know how to be productive without that process.
If you were, whatever we're talking about, this whole healthy, would we even want to?
No, fuck no.
No, we would.
No, we'd all be chilling in the other room watching Sports Center. We wouldn't be tough, dude. It'd be fucking hard.
We wouldn't need that.
I mean, that's the hard part I think about. Like when I hear you talking about, I'm like, that's a tough thing to come back from, to be doing again what you're doing, but having to be trying to do it from a place of like
not. Well, they go like one of my they go, don't like go like get healthy because we want you to be alive. We don't want you to kill yourself, but don't get too healthy. Meaning like still be like,
have that edge.
Oh God. Like if you still like at the airport and the guy tries to come, you're like, I want to kill him. You know, still have whatever that is.
No, you still want to have that.
Yeah.
It's true.
You still want to have that.
I'm like Carl Jung said, like we only respect a person who like we don't respect someone who doesn't have the bull in them. We respect the person who's corralled the bull.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Deploy it when it's necessary.
And you
have to have he called it like the capacity for danger or for.
That sounds like Jordan Peterson or something like that.
Totally. Well, that's the hard part about all these good thinkers too, is that at some point they all get co-opted by people who use it for the most base reasons, and then you're like, well, the guy was actually pretty smart, but it's like
that's what I knew when I knew everything with Fauci had gone wrong or had the potential to, you know, like you see some of these like young, like, you know, this Justin Bieber, like not his like pastors, but those guys, you see him start, you go, oh, this is going to go bad. Like when Anthony Fauci threw out the first pitch I go, oh, we're done, dude. We're done. Because now
it's turned into something else.
He's a doctor that is giving his life to help. I go, oh, we're done. Yeah, we're done.
No,
because now he's famous. Now he's wanting. Oh, we're done. Now you're placating. Yeah, now you want the spotlight. If you're throwing out the first pitch, now you want, and you're gonna say whatever keeps that. So it's a wrap.
It's true. And it's quick. It's funny how fast we turn. Cause like at the beginning of the pandemic, we wanted heroes.
Yeah,
so then like, you know, I had tons of girls on Instagram posting about how like sexy Andrew Cuomo is, you know, cause he was like the hero we needed at that moment.
That's when it's going to go
and
bad.
Then once you start seeing them post being like, I'm a Cuomo sexual or whatever, you're like, dude, it's just start the clock. You know what I mean? You lit the fuse. It's over.
Wait,
this fucker's
what happened with
down.
him?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even remember him until you just said it.
No, he went down for sexually harassing like half his staff.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
And then for doing like crazy like counter pressure on them, like using all like his levers of power to you know, silence them or whatever.
Because you start to that gets in there a little bit.
Yeah, once he wrote a book on how to handle the pandemic.
Yeah, it's a wrap. It's like, I just shake hands now. Yeah,
you're like you got caught, bro. You got
think about the director of public health or the CDC, whatever his name, to throw out the first pitch, meaning somebody goes, "Hey, of all the celebrities, we choose you because you have contributed." That's the ultimate. We see you, and it was the first pitch of like the first of the season, the big whatever the big one was, and then I just watched that. And I go, oh, immediately this voice cannot be trusted anymore. Immediately,
I think every one of those people. It's like I'm reading this book about JFK, and they're pre World War II right now, and it's like Neville Chamberlain makes this deal with Hitler to prevent war in like Czechoslovakia, and everyone's like, you're a hero, and he's like, I'm the fucking man, I prevented war. And then like
it's a wrap.
A year later, everyone's like, you're an appeaser, you're a bitch, and you change the course of history in a negative way. It's like the only option for these people who are all hypocrites and fools to some level is every time they try to give you something, you just have to start with, I'm a huge piece of shit, this could go terrible.
I don't know either.
Like Fauci should have grabbed a mic at the first pitch and been like, I'm also a fucking idiot. I made these 30 mistakes. I'm hiding some stuff.
I'm trying my best, but don't trust me. Or fact check me against somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. You can't present yourself as like.
Then.
And some people are able to do it. Like, I feel like Bill Burr is a good example of that, where like...
No, he goes, I'm an idiot. After every bit, he goes, I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me.
And if people praise him, he's just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
he's
got that Boston humility where he's just like, dude, I'm a fucking idiot. And
I'm
you're
an
like,
idiot. Don't listen to me.
But it's tougher if you're Fauci, I guess, to be like...
You have to be like, listen to me.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But I just couldn't imagine, you know, like somebody that's like I guess we're very critical on this side of it, but you go, I couldn't imagine a couple that's like a touring like marriage counselor I go, no.
Oh, couples?
Yeah, I go,
Public couples?
No, I go,
Dude,
no way,
never.
dude.
Never.
Just by the way,
It's doomed.
you go, no, doomed, dude, doomed.
Doomed, bro.
But you go, you stand up there in front of everybody. Go, this is how you have a healthy marriage.
Dude, you know his big one?
Who
We talked about this before, Jared, the Subway guy.
is he? What? Oh yeah.
Well,
You
Chad,
can't present yourself as the Subway guy.
no, it's the ultimate burden.
I knew this guy.
You knew. Yeah. This is,
I was. This is my clip with my brothers, because I had no idea what I was talking about, but I was just like,
we still don't. By the way, we still have no idea.
Yeah, I saw him on a commercial. I was like, I don't like that dweeb. To my brothers, and they're like, "How'd you know? How'd you know he's?" And I was like, I didn't know.
You need to go.
But I was just mad that he's a Subway guy.
Yeah, I don't like this. Well, all the whenever you watch like a murder, a lot of people love like murder mystery, or like those podcasts that you go, because you go, somebody got murdered, something horrible happened, and you're all these characters, and you go, this guy from like down the street normally like takes out his trash every Tuesday, but this time you go, what's going on here? You know, or that you go, we all live under the same, like, if you said, hey, I need to go down to like, let's say Fresno. I love Fresno. And you going out there every week. You're like, what? We would go,
He's up to something.
what's going on out there?
What's in Fresno?
What is going on out there?
Yeah.
It's something bad.
There's a chick.
There's
You're not
drugs. There's
supposed to be
something.
seeing her.
Yeah, you go, what's if you're like, no, I just like love Fresno. I just like the joy of the drive. Like we would go, no. Because
It doesn't make sense.
you just go, we all live under the same social rules of humanity. And when somebody, you just go,
And we like picking up on that stuff. too.
yeah.
We're looking for the
we are that.
incongruities.
Because we are that.
Yeah.
And you do whatever, you go, nope.
And then once you put your, like, the doomed couple thing, like, once you say, like, hey, we're the ideal company, and they can try as hard as they want to be like, hey, I'm also fucked up. It's like, nah, you took up the mantle. And now we've all got our sights. Like,
That's
I'm
why we wanna
watching
crush
you.
you. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
watching you extra. Like,
Yeah.
I'm clued in. I'm looking for every detail.
Because it makes you feel like, remember, Tim Tebow?
Of course.
This is, you can double check this, but this is, I'm pretty sure, like Ashley Madison, they offered, remember that? They offered $1 million if somebody could prove, he said he was a virgin. Tim Tebow goes, I'm a virgin until I get married. And they, by the nature of their business, they hate that. They hate someone with virtue or someone with conviction. They go, we'll offer anyone $1 million if they can prove they had sex with him.
Right.
Because that was a giant mirror to people that were cheating on their spouses and they go, this makes us so uncomfortable. We have to tear this down.
Yeah.
It's our favorite thing to do. I mean, I think with like, even I was thinking about it with the Amber Heard trial, and people were so stoked to be
Stoked.
And I was watching it intently, and I was as excited by the theater of it and of like the Johnny Depp like reclamation of it as anyone. But it did make me think, I'm like, oh, we get more fired up about that than like the thing that supposedly caused it, or like
or
like the Jussie Smollett thing. Like, I had family members who were like, fired up about that. They were like, can you believe this fucking guy? Can you believe this fucking guy? And it was incredibly like irresponsible and awful. But like, I asked one of my family members, I was like, I've never heard you get that fired up about when that shit actually does happen. And do I think this family member is like a little bit racist? Probably. But I also think there's just something baked into us that like, if someone cries wolf, that's just like when you're a kid and you're in school and some kid like makes up some shit and you catch them on that.
It's
like that for humans is
nothing better.
There's no better like social feeling or like high than that, where we're like, we caught you.
It's the collective like Schadenfreude.
Yeah, we're like, we caught you playing victim. Like, oh, you're
and
so
it's also
fucking dumb.
happened to me, and I would not wish it on my worst enemy. I would not wish what happened to me on my worst enemy. And like, it happens every couple months with a Christian public figure, and when it happens to them, I still screenshot. I don't publicly, but I send it to my buddies. Can you believe? Like,
of course.
And it's happened to me.
Right.
And I know Now I would never post something publicly because I know how horrific. I know these people read their mentions. They read them. They read their comments.
Yeah.
I would never. But I go, look at that, or like you go, yeah, and you want to get into it.
We love it.
I wonder what that is.
Well,
I don't know, but man, it's powerful.
It is,
and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's very fun.
Yeah,
it's a the celebration of the downfalls. Like, yeah, I don't know. I always people are doing it now with Amber Heard.
They're crushing her.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm seeing articles and stuff where they're just like, she's likely broke now. She'll never work again, and you're just like, you know.
We're like, yeah. Well, remember
I just think karmically, I don't think you should celebrate anyone's kind of misfortune.
And a lot of it's people who feel victimized by something that hasn't even happened to them.
Yeah.
But they feel
no relation to it. Remember the girl that was like, that she was like standing up for racism, but then we found out she was white. She had like
Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah, dude.
Amazing. That one is amazing.
Yeah, that was just pure
Kind of awesome, dude.
See, even now, as we're having this,
Now I know, but she was most likely, if we got her in here, if she would tell us the story about that, she would say I would look the devil in the eye too.
Right.
I don't know her, but she was like, it was horrific.
No, I think I would.
I bet
you at the end of a long conversation with her,
we would love her.
have nothing but empathy for her.
Yes, that's everybody.
Maybe not, but like I'm betting.
Who's that? Bill Burr has that bit about he's like, even if Trump and Hillary, if they had to go on like a 5-hour road trip together, they'd be like, and then they'd be like, stop and get a burger.
Yeah.
And then somebody goes, I gotta go to the bathroom, and they go, all right. And then by the end of it, you're like, ah.
Yeah, I guess we like with those people that we feel no like push to connect to them. We're like, oh, finally, there's someone I can just fucking hate.
Yeah.
Like I can just write this person off.
Especially because when they are so virtuistic or so
when they played that
pious,
part. Yeah,
and you go, because everybody knows when I am alone and no cameras are on or nobody's, I do things I'm embarrassed of, and that makes me feel shame. And when you see another person being, maybe they do have their life together, it's a reflection on, well, I don't like that. So when they come down and you're here, they come down, you are now.
Yeah, we're
That's
a little
above them.
We are.
A little.
Yeah,
for
we feel
time.
that way.
Yeah, it's not true, but yeah.
Do you think we're turning the corner with that in a little bit?
Yeah.
It seems like in terms of all that kind of stuff, it's starting to better itself, I think.
Well, I'm 38. I don't know how old you guys are, but we're the ones that grew up without it, and now like social media or now have it, and the kids that have always had it are like, it's kind of in its rightful place to them. I feel like younger kids like, oh, I got roasted, or they go, it doesn't. But like my mother wants to go knock on the door of everyone that says a negative thing about me and be like, why did you say that about my son? And if someone ever said something about my mother or my parents' age, it's World War III.
Yeah.
I understand it's a kind of part of the kids younger than us are better at it.
Right.
Then they've interacted with it. For the first time you got a negative thing said about you publicly, it was earth-shattering.
It's a punch to the gut.
Yes.
And sometimes they're very smart. Sometimes they see something in you.
They say something about you publicly
that you've been trying to, make small, and then they bring it into the light, and you're like, fuck. Like, is everyone gonna think of me this way?
Yeah.
It's scary. It is scary.
So scary. But now you go like, oh, I'm getting crushed on some thread or on Reddit or something, but I also sold 3,000 tickets tonight. Yeah. So you go, if have to believe one of these are real people that really got dressed, took a shower, went out to dinner, and got a parking spot and came in here and paid $100 to see me. This, by default, then cannot be reality. It exists, but it's not.
I do think, yeah.
Whatever that
is. I do think the culture at large is starting to see the Twitter voices as for what they are, which is like a very small minority of people. And so I think now it's you're able to. I think people are able to sort of compartmentalize. They're like, oh, that's just like a few people on Twitter versus the real world, which is, I think, much
no one knows that. Has anyone ever said anything negative or hurtful to you guys in person?
A little bit.
Where?
You know, it's more like a casual rudeness, though. They don't like go in for the jugular. Yeah. They just like...
Oh, they know your work?
They know your work, and they just try to punk you in a way where they don't feel on equal footing when they're talking to you.
Yeah, so they know the micro.
So they just start hitting you with little digs and seeing how that, like what you do with that. And you kind of just have to... You can either, and
that's probably just part of it. This is part of it.
Yeah, and I've had moments where I've been like, what are you saying to me? And I've also had moments where I just smile through it, and I'm just like, all right, that's just this dude's energy. But
and sees whatever I'm doing. He doesn't. Yeah, he has his own.
And he obviously has enough of a feeling about it to come talk to me, but he hasn't made up his mind whether he likes me actually or whether he can sit here with me and just chill.
Yeah,
I think people have talked about my teeth. Both online and in person.
Yeah, have they?
Yeah.
And what does it do to you?
Well, they're veneers, so I'm like, whatever, dude. No, it gets me. Something. Well, you know what? My pledge. When I was in a fraternity, my pledge sergeant, whatever. He's like, you got donkey teeth, and I was like, fuck, dude. He's like, he called me Gumby.
Really?
Like, you fucking Gumby. And
dang, dude.
I just find it funny now.
Well, when I was in the fraternity, we were all. I was very skinny. I'm still pretty skinny, but I was even skinnier. I was 6'2" and like 140 pounds.
Yeah.
In college, and we were all, if you stand, we weren't naked. I think we were in our boxers or in our underwear. Maybe we were shirtless for some reason. Mm-hmm. We were all standing right over left in against the wall, facing the wall. So same type story. And he said I had my shoulder blade stuck out, and he said I had back boobs. Why are you laughing at that, dude? I'm just kidding.
No, you know what makes me laugh about it is that
it's the same type story about you. They just do that.
When they get you, you're like, oh fuck, dude.
No, I've think about it every day since.
You're like, fuck, my gums are huge.
Especially when you're young. Like,
that's great.
Some bullies are good at being bullies, and they can find the thing like. We were
tough to come back from.
We were like frenemies with this hot dude in high school.
Yeah.
And like if I would have looked at him, there wasn't a thing about him that I thought you could make fun of. He was smart. Yeah, he was handsome. He was confident. No. I was like, he's bulletproof. Yeah. And then my friend who was like the best at bullying was like, he's got long nipples. And he's like, he's got nipples you could like light a match off of. And then pretty soon, everyone's making fun of this guy about his nipples, which is such a non-starter. And I was like, dude, like, credit to you.
We got to go with it.
Yeah. You found the one thing, like on his anatomy,
in his arm.
that was at all worth making fun. And I was like, how did he even spot that? But he got it in a glance.
High school kids are tough. Like college is tough. Dude.
Oh yeah.
I never forgot what they said. I never forgot.
Yeah.
I know what the guy's name is too. I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah.
Because you just go. Somebody has a bit about that, Mulaney, or somebody has a bit about high school kids.
Junior high kids being like, nice childbearing hips. He's like, how'd you know I'm sensitive about that? Yeah. I also think though, if they're finding you that you have like, what was the insult they?
That's great.
What was
back boobs.
Back boobs, like
shoulder blades.
If it's something small like that, I think that means you're doing pretty well. Because like if you were really, some homely looking person, they should be like, God damn, you're ugly.
Jeez, dude. Yeah.
It'd be way more macro and obvious. Like they had to search.
They got to get in. Yeah.
He had to find something.
Well, I mean, you can just say that now when I'm in my 30s. I can put it into context. I know he was just a bully.
Right.
But not at the time.
No, of course not. No, we don't have the design for that.
I watched Full Metal Jacket last week, and I always wonder what a drill sergeant would say to me. And would you be able to not laugh?
Oh, yeah, like that.
If they're yelling at you, like, you big tooth piece of shit, I'd be like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
I'd be like, ah. And then if the other guys, if it was doing it to the other guys, you start laughing.
Yeah.
Because they did a in my fraternity, because they ask you all the questions about the history. Yeah. So to try to like,
the extraordinary gentleman that came before you.
Yeah. And then one time they go, there's a guy named Burkhart and there's a guy named Lancaster, two guys. And Burkhart was interviewing me. I was, I had my blindfold on. We were out in the woods, middle of nowhere, and he quizzed me about the history of the fraternity. And if you knew all the answers, they couldn't punish you, make you do whatever, get on your knees or do push-ups or whatever. So he goes, Crist. And I go, sir, yes, sir. That's how you say, sir, yes, sir. And he goes, if you and Lancaster's sister were in the woods together alone and she got bit on the nipple by a poisonous snake, would you suck out the venom or let her die? And I'm like 18, and these are like the authorities, and I'm like, so, and the Lancaster was over in the field 50 yards, and I thought it was very serious. Like, I didn't understand. Joe, I don't know what I was thinking. I go, sir, to save her life, I would suck Lancaster's. And he's like, what? And then he goes, Lancaster, get over here. Chris said you would suck your sister's titty. And then he go, what? And then it's like it's like a whole
that'd be pretty hilarious.
I was so scared. Dude. I was so scared.
I took it so seriously.
Yeah, so did I.
They knew how seriously I took it because this guy Jimmy, I really wanted to be in a fraternity with him, and I was like, I got to be in Pike with Jimmy, and so they knew how seriously I took it. So they came in, they're like, dude, we talked it over, and we cannot give you a bid. And I was like, oh no. And then they like came back. They like walked out. They did the same thing.
Well. We do. Everyone does it.
Yeah,
mine's the exact same.
Then they're like, we're just kidding. I was like, oh, you guys got me so good. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's all worth it.
They really do a good job of making you take it seriously. Where you're like, this is like when I was a pledge. Like I was like to my brother.
I was a Pi Kappa Phi. You're Pi Kappa Alpha.
I was Pi Kappa Alpha. And I was like to my brother.
Stupid.
Yeah, dude, I was like to my brother. I'm like, yeah, I'm a pledge right now, so it's And he's like, you take that shit seriously? I was like,
you're like, hey, I can't talk about it.
I was like, what? I can't talk about it.
Yeah. My roommate wasn't in Greek life, and I would always come back, and he's like, what did you guys do? And I go, can't talk about it.
It's so stupid.
And then did you have like ours is called the oral boards, where they have the review from like the nationals.
Right.
It was like an alumni that lived in town.
Yeah.
But it was like he's like, Crist, we looked at your and they're like, what? And it's like, yeah. So stupid, dude. Do those exist still?
Frats?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
They do?
Dude, I think they're hard to kill. Like, I think like there was a time where like Harvard thought they were going to get away from like their social clubs.
Yeah.
But if there's any kind of system where you can elevate yourself and feel like you're part of something.
But they shouldn't exist.
No.
Everything about it was like, we're here to like be a brotherhood of men that respects women and helps with homework. I'm like, this is none of that is true.
Were you guys on the other side too? Did you guys have to be?
Not really.
I was really fun. I was
a cool guy.
I would make them do weird. That I would be like, I made my interviews just really like fun and weird, so that people enjoyed mine as opposed to like the
being a hard ass.
Yeah, the guys who would like torture kids. They
were real, but those guys, those are the guys working at Staples now.
Yeah, I feel bad with picking on Staples.
Yes, I are. Yes, anybody that works there.
Some good hombres.
I used to work at
really
Chick-fil-A. I can't judge it. Yeah.
You worked at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, for a long time, a summer.
How was that?
Well, they put me on sweeping duty in the parking lot. I got fired, but tough. Yeah.
Were you good at other jobs before comedy?
No, dude, no. Well, I was good in sales because I could just talk.
Oh, that makes sense. What were you selling?
Like sports equipment.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, but I knew it. But I was just cool. I go, hey, dude, I'm gonna send you this invoice for the 20 grand. Like, I was just fond to be around.
That's cool.
I knew nothing about it. I knew, and I didn't send any of the invoices because I always forgot. But.
And you lived in LA before moving back to Nashville, right? Mm-hmm. How's that been on your dome?
Awesome. This place, this neighborhood is just so stressful to drive here.
The lanes are very narrow. The infrastructure is not.
It's just
quite right.
What they say about like, if you're living at like a 9.9, anything will put you underwater. Like there's the line's too long. You get honked at. You like if you're living right here. That's which is I feel like LA. A lot of people like just. But in Nashville, it's like down here, and like if you get like somebody turns down my TV show, or I got a bad analytics on a video, or somebody doesn't invite me to a party that I feel like I should be. It's like it's fine.
Right.
That's what I'm not on antidepressants anymore, but I was for like a year and a half. That just like the bad stuff doesn't make you want to go relapse.
You're just trying to turn the volume down a little bit.
Yeah, like those things are like, it's just so like in this city.
It's an anxious place.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. You just said it better than I could. Yeah.
In this part of town. Come to me in the valley, guys.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that is chill. Yeah, the girl I'm dating lives in Burbank, and I love going to her place. Like I prefer going over there because I feel like it's a neighborhood street. Families are walking down.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's fair. Like this 5-mile radius is just like
I'm in the belly of the beast here.
Yeah, you might be. Dude. Yeah.
No, I feel it. I run away to Orange County a lot though, and that's a nice decompress.
Got to get back with the Republicans sometimes.
They know how to live. They know how to live, those people.
First, you're like, tip the cap.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, what do you guys think about Ukraine? They're like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Let me tell you about this deck I'm building. I'm like, you know what? Not a bad way to spend 5 minutes talking about that.
That's awesome.
It's fucking nice. But dude, so you got a special coming out, right? Or is it already
special
out?
just came out last week.
How's it going?
Yeah, killer. It's unbelievable.
Dude, that's awesome.
Which is, it's I put it out on YouTube.
I mean, that's how.
Yeah, I think that might be the future, dude.
I think we're here, yeah.
Because you can't. I mean, have you ever debuted something or premiered something on YouTube?
No.
Where you watch, it's like it's coming out at noon, and everybody's gonna watch it with you.
Oh no!
It was I was in
that's
the.
Cool.
It was wild, dude. That's the one thing about YouTube that I never experienced before. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And people can share it. You know, if you don't have Netflix or you don't have Hulu, would you get have you ever bought a platform for a show?
I think the only one I did was I got Apple TV so I could watch the morning show.
Really?
And that's me being straight up.
Oh, that's all you're talking about. You love to see people get crushed, dude. Yeah. I got Apple TV
That show
for the
Ted Lasso.
Yep,
Whatever.
yeah.
There it is.
I got Disney Plus for the Imagineering story, the documentary on how they
You bought?
built Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still have it?
Hell yeah, dude! I've watched Imagineering story like 6 times.
But I think we undercut your point, which is that people
Oh, yeah,
don't
sorry.
do that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, totally. It took me a couple of seconds to catch up to where
Oh,
you're
my
going.
bad.
Yeah.
Or if you do, well, it just has to be extraordinary. And you will do it. It just has to be like I got Amazon, or what did I buy? Yellowstone.
Good show.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
But it's something if you go, hey, this is unbelievable. It's on, you go,
Yeah.
versus here's the link. It's right here. And everybody can stream, put it on their TVs. That's everybody's TV.
And it seems to have more longevity too,
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. It just keeps building and building.
And you own it, and you can see how it's doing. Yeah. And if you have a big enough platform, and it's a compelling piece of content, you'll profit from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well,
If somebody got this far in this podcast and they're like, I want another hour of John Crist, respect. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and being so candid and open, man. Because
Absolutely, man.
yeah, I kind of didn't know what to expect, and I really appreciate you. Just being
You
so.
ever see a guy from recovery in public?
Oh, dude, a lot.
Yes, so do I.
Dude, I made the biggest gaffe of my
Like
life.
you try in this podcast, you kind of threw it out. You're like, you want to, or I said rehab actually.
I think you brought
Yeah,
it
so
up.
otherwise you weren't
I was
gonna talk
waiting-
about it?
I was going to wait for your cue on it.
Yeah,
I didn't
Did you guys
want-
talk about that before or no?
I told Chad, I was like, hey, I've known this guy from recovery. I was like,
I'm dying.
but I said, I'm not going to bring it up unless he brings it up. And then you did. And I really admire you for
What
doing
if I
that.
said, you go, yeah, you and me, but I go, what? And I just left you out there. No, dude.
Well, I've been stuff like that's happened on the podcast, so
Really?
I've made that mistake before, and I'm like, oh, this dude was not coming here for that. So that's just getting edited.
Oh.
But to your point about running, I ran
people?
I was at the movie theater one time, and I'm super friendly.
Yeah,
So I see this guy walking in with a gal. He's on a date, and I just
You know him from meetings?
I go, and I didn't know where I knew him from.
Oh, no.
I go, hey, buddy. I'm like, hey, I know you, and he goes. He's got this like quizzical kind of stressed out look, and he goes, oh yeah, maybe I know you from like intramural whatever. I go, nah, that's not it. and then he's like, oh, you might know me from I did improv at this place, and I go, no, that's not it. And then I must have made him sit there for what felt like an eternity. But
Did he know from the jump?
He knew right away, and then he walks away. And he's like with a gal, looked like a second or third date. He walks away next to my buddy. I go, oh, dude, I just fucked up. I go, I know that guy from Sex Addicts, dude. I was like, that's like worst case scenario.
With a girl.
With a girl on a date,
dude.
just chilling at the theater.
Tough.
And I put him under the microscope. But
no, he's probably married to her by now.
I hope so. Yeah. Hey, those are the best stories you hear in there.
Tough.
Those are great stories when you hear about guys getting to the other side of it and you know being healthy. So, but yeah, dude. But thank you for being so open and honest about everything. It was really nice talking to you.
When you guys, let's do it on the show soon.
Yeah, let's
Remember
do
we
it.
all three did that show. Trevor.
Dude,
show.
yeah, we should do another show.
And with King Batch.
Dude, he was big. That was crazy seeing him there.
Yeah,
I was
King Batch
like,
is huge.
yeah, it was a powerful green room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of hitters.
A lot of hitters.
A lot of hitters from the internet. Like if any, like, but
Internet hitters for sure.
I consider myself, as I've been doing stand up long before my videos were viral.
Same for us.
Yeah. So like, but the guys like a Harlan Williams or like one of the like comics would see that green room and the sold out. They go, I'm out of here.
Yeah. They'd be like, this is what's wrong with the biz.
Yes, 100%.
Totally.
They were like these, like.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder that because like.
I didn't mean to point out Harlan Williams. I'm just thinking of it.
No, he's like our favorite.
I love him. Yeah,
we adore him.
But he's at the Ice House a bunch, I think.
Yeah, he's so funny.
So a guy that's like not on social media, but just a crusher of a pure stand-up.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder that.
And can't sell any tickets. I don't know about him, but a guy that like.
That's always a shame.
And just crush it, like standing ovation every time.
Yeah.
And then we come in.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, and they go. But Trevor was a comic before.
Long
came
before.
up with him in open mics.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grinded.
Yeah,
he grinded.
Dow Comedy Studio with Trevor.
Let's go. Well, I know that because I know how hard he works.
Yeah.
And he was always cool and always diligent and always funny. And no, I have a. Sometimes I get a bit envious, but for the most part, I'm just like, this dude is like, he deserves everything.
This dude's different.
Yeah.
This dude's
He
built
is
different.
and he's super fucking nice.
Yeah.
He's
And
like the fucking kindest guy.
I send that guy's videos to everybody.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
They're awesome, dude.
All my like friends that I grew up with and stuff. He's always in the circulation.
Yeah. Some of those. His video this week. I sent it to 4 people.
But do you watch much comedy?
Stand up.
Like stand up or like sketch or whatever?
I follow a couple. I follow 5 maybe.
Yeah, I don't pay attention
You
to.
don't know what
I think
people
it might
do.
be hurting my comedy, honestly, at this point. Like, I should be a little more in touch with it, but I just, I don't know. I'd rather watch sports or read about something. It just feels like a bigger break, I guess.
To watch other people stand up or other people's sketches.
Yeah, it's hard for me to watch that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more of like I have like a worker respect for them. Where I'm like, I see what they're doing, and I'm like, that's great, and I appreciate it. Yeah, but I'm not like.
But then you're watching Sports Center, and you're like, oh, another one, and then you haven't put out one in 2 weeks.
Different beast. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Did we wrap it up?
Thanks for coming in.
All right, you guys are the best, man.
It's a
You're
pleasure.
the best, man. That was awesome.
Do it.
Yeah, thanks.
Wait,
He had hanging.
He had headphones on.
Which I never normally
It was
wear.
the opposite. Yeah.
Because I went down and saw these, and I go, oh, should I put these on?